This short tutorial is going to show you the steps you're going to take to finish the Photoshop Skills Activity 1 for week 2. You're going to start a new file. A square 5x5 works well, 150 resolution RGB color with a transparent background. You want to title this, so click in the name area and title it Week 2 Skills Activity. The next thing you want to do is save this. You want to put it into your folder on the desktop as well as save it to your flash drive. Double check to make sure you're saving it in the correct location. You want to create a week 2 folder. That way, if you create weekly folders, you'll have a better idea of where everything is located. It's kind of like a file cabinet. You want to save it using a Photoshop file format. Later on, I'll be telling you to save it in a different format. Now you want to make sure your rulers are viewed. Go to the View drop-down menu if they're not showing and click Rulers. Now drag with your cursor from each ruler bar to create a guideline. Go to the Apple Preferences, Guides and Grids, and change those guidelines to a color that's easier for you to see. This divides your page into 4 equal parts, but they don't print. The next thing you're going to do is create 4 different things. The first one is a shape. Using one of the marquee tools, I'm creating a square. I'm going to fill this using the paint bucket and a foreground color. There's a couple different ways to select foreground colors. Practice each of the methods either by using the tool options bar or the foreground color swatch on the toolbar. Once you have that color done, you want to create another layer and then create another shape using a different marquee tool. This time I've made an oval, and I'm going to use a brush and put some brush strokes inside the oval. You'll notice that when you have a selected area, it only puts the painted brush strokes inside that selection. I also want to use a specialty brush, so I've chosen a leaf. Put some leaves in there. And then I'll turn off that selection. You'll notice I have 2 separate layers. I can use my Move tool now and move that around, and it only moves that shape on that layer. Now I'm going to retype the name of the layer by just double clicking on the name layer and typing what's on each layer. Now I'm going to add some text using the Type tool. I'm going to put my first and last name and the date. I can change the font or the size using the tool options bar. Or I can use the character palette and use that to change the font, the size, and also the leading or the space in between each line of text. I can tighten it up or loosen it, or I can choose auto, and that puts the exact amount of leading or space in between each line of text. Then I'll use the paragraph palette to center the text or justify it either on the right or left, and then use the Move tool and move it into place. The next thing I'm going to create is a custom shape. I choose my custom shape and then pick one from the available shapes that relates to me. I choose the light bulb because I'm always thinking of new ideas. Now I'm going to play around with a style and make changes to that style. In the Layers palette, I have some different effects. I can click on one of those and it'll open up a new dialog box. These are my layer styles. I'm going to make changes to the drop shadow. And then finally, after I'm done, I'm going to resave this, make sure it's in the correct location. I'm saving this on my desktop as well as to my flash drive. I'm replacing the old file. And then finally, I want to print a copy so that I can turn that in for a grade. If you have any questions, be sure to email me.